Do you believe that it's about their standards, or do you believe it's about the gold standard, as O'Reilly said, which is this guy worth the money?
I think organizations do what they think is in their own interest at any moment in time. And heck, I mean, you were #1 on CNN for a long
Forever.
time.
The entire time I did the show, I was #1.
Yeah, I vividly remember both running for president and then commenting on the 2020 race, and you were there and Don was there. And I thought that these guys were the definition of CNN. And so it does seem awfully abrupt when figures like that get fired because the organization woke up one day or 1 week and said, you know what, we have to make this move. I think it's going to feel like that for a lot of viewers. I personally, like, the Forward Party is trying to bring down the temperature in the country, trying to reduce the polarization, and certainly there's a hope that these firings might lead in that direction where Tucker is concerned. I don't see Don as polarizing a figure. I did send him a text message because, you know, I mean, we've been on air together dozens of times, and I know him here in New York.
Yeah.
I personally love Tucker. Honestly, I was in complete shock this morning. Very disappointed with the news. They should think of us, the viewers. What about us? You know, and I know that the 8 o'clock hour is going to break. I don't think that Fox News is going to have the same amount of viewers that they've had, just because a lot of the support was because of Tucker. He kept it real. Personally a fan, and very disappointed to hear about this.
Chris, O'Reilly was right that it's so much about money, and we were talking about before going on the air that it's always about money. It's a business. Every building that does this is about the money ultimately. But there's also a mixture of things. It's also about the degree to which a network wants to fight. Of course it's about the money, but for some reason, Fox News was not interested in protecting the franchise that was Tucker Carlson. Was it bad chemistry in the building? Was it that he wasn't bringing in enough money for a show that had those kinds of ratings? Is it because this is not your dad's Fox News? I don't know if the Fox News of 20 years ago would have thrown Tucker Carlson under the bus. There's a lot of, this is one of those situations where everybody that's talking doesn't know and those who know aren't talking. But there's a heavy, pervasive feeling that Fox News is a little less grassroots, a little less MAGA, whatever you want to call it, maybe a little less conservative, and maybe that made Tucker a little more expendable.
It also makes me wonder, what does this do? Mayra makes a good point. You know, think about the audience. Does this signify a shift in what we're going to see from televised news offerings? My sense is absolutely not. I think that people who are saying that this guy needed to be held accountable, or that guy, or on the off chance that it's a woman, that this woman, because, you know, Barbara Romo, we'll see what happens with her. But I don't think it is an indication that they're going to do their job any better, because they don't even have what it takes to come out and attack these people when they're in power. I've seen it. I went at Carlson on a regular basis because, look, I think he did what he did very well, Mayra, but that's not the bar for me. Okay, I don't see him as a real conservative. I saw him as a guy who played to advantage. And he certainly did that with me. Every chance he had, he would take a shot at me in a way that only starts to matter when it affects your kids. That changes the game. I never do anything that's going to get somebody's kids to have to answer for their mother or father. I don't do that because I know what that's like. But the idea that this guy's bad, which means I'm better, do you buy that in the media, that they're going to uphold some different standard?
I'm with you, Chris. I don't think this indicates some kind of sea change in the kind of programming that you're going to see. I wish it might, but we've seen this play repeatedly where there's someone who might be very highly rated, but the company decides that, look, like, this isn't the right fit, and they move on from him. The fact is, the audience does tend to move on. I mean, you have these star-making networks.
Well, you do have big brands. The brand is bigger than the person. I never had any illusion that when I left CNN that it would mean anything, because I was about the outlet, okay? Here, we're building culture, and NewsNation's a little different. But they'll find somebody else. You know, when Megyn Kelly got tossed.
I started watching Fox News because of Tucker. He kept it real for me, and he hold Republicans and Democrats accountable at many times. Doesn't mean that I always agreed on everything, but I just don't think that Fox News is going to be the same without him.
He may be different.
And I hope that, you know, the viewers hold Fox News accountable, just like I believe that CNN viewers should hold CNN accountable as well, because at the end of the day, Fox News or CNN or any TV station is nothing without the viewers.
True.
And it's time that we start respecting them. And I feel that we're being ignored and disrespected when the people that we love to see on TV is no longer there.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.